Hey there, guys. Welcome to my channel. My name is Cerise Fairfax, and I'm coming at you right now from the Dominican Republic in a little town called Sosua in a province called Puerto Plata, and I'm located in a neighborhood called Chiramicos. I live where I love, and I love where I live. And we're going to talk about love today. We're going to talk about love versus lust here in the Dominican Republic. All right, guys, this is a very serious topic amongst the expats. More specifically, men and women, actually. But I'm going to break it down for you today. We're going to kind of look at lust, and we're going to look at love, and we're going to look at how you can tell the difference. I wrote a book called How to Win the Heart of a Dominican Woman. And oh my gosh, did I ever get a lot of feedback, put it that way, on Facebook. It was so funny. I mean, even here on YouTube, so funny. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, I know how to win the heart of a Dominican woman. I'm like, how? They're like, money. And I'm like, that's a lot of women, not just Dominican women. Well, buy her things. That's a lot of women. What are you talking about, dude? Because in Canada, some women won't even date a guy unless he has like a really nice car, fat bank account, really nice stylish clothes, jewelry, Rolex, and can afford to buy her a really nice dinner and not expect her to go Dutch. And not only that, be able to buy her a really nice rock when it comes to the engagement time. And not only that, make sure that he buys her a nice gift every single time he can. So those are the standards of the women where I come from in downtown Toronto. And I don't see a lot of that here. I'm going to break it down today, like in regards to lust and love, but also female expats and also male expats. So let's first talk about these women that the guys are talking about all they want is money. A lot of those girls are young girls, and a lot of them you find on Pedro Clisante. And a lot of the ones that you find on Pedro Clisante are working girls, straight up. They are girls that are looking for money. They don't really have a lot of education. They're probably not in school. And they're leading a really fast lifestyle. They're beautiful. They're young. They're between the ages of like 19 to 30. And that is who you're meeting. So even if you were in Toronto and you are on a street, let's say Yonge Street, it's one of the most busiest streets in downtown Toronto, or let's say New York, Manhattan or something, and there is an area designated for tourists, then you're going to find that the women that go into that area, especially if the women are lacking economical, standards the way that other people do around the world, they're going to go target those men that are coming from out of town with cash, dollar bills. That's just a given. So when you go and you look for a woman on Pedro Clisante, you're either letting them know that you're looking for a good time, nothing too serious, or secondly, you got it like that and you're going to pay it like that. If you're looking for lust, go on Pedro Clisante and you will find it all day, every day. But you're not going to find love very easily there. That's just straight goods. I don't need to live here to tell you that. But speaking of living here, I've been living here for 7 years now, almost. And I will let you know this. I have seen love many times. And I have seen people fall in love. I've seen some working girls fall in love with a dude. Those same girls on Pedro Clisante, I've seen them fall in love with guys and be like, ooh, he's different. And these are working girls. And they say you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Well, sometimes you can, because some of these working girls are seriously minded. They are on the streets because they're young. They're looking for some money. They have a business idea. They want to get a little boutique going, maybe a restaurant going. Maybe they have like a hair salon idea. Maybe they want to do nails. A lot of Dominican women are entrepreneurial. You will find that when you're here. A lot of Dominican women want to open up businesses and they want to do business. A lot of them don't just want to sit around and do nothing all day. But what happens is the guys, they'll come, and some of these guys have like very little money, okay? But when they come, they look at the woman and they're like, oh, you're working in a bar? Because remember, they're like, she's not on the streets. She's working in a bar on Pedro Clisante. Some of those girls on Pedro Clisante are really good. Like, they work in the bar. They have, like, there's a few of them. They are dating Germans. They're dating Swedish men. They're dating American men, Canadian men, men from France. Like, and these girls are working in the bar. And their boyfriends know that they're working in the bar, but these guys go and they check up on their girlfriends, and they also make sure that their girlfriends get picked up at night from them. Okay, but they also want their girlfriend to work because they want her to have some type of dignity, and they also want to show her that they're not going to take care of her like that. So there are some really good women that work in the bars on Pedro Clisante in Sosua. But then you have some that are working in a bar, and it's just easy for them not to work on the street, and they're meeting a lot of foreigners and they haven't met their husband yet, so they do take little extras on the side. Let's look at that dude that goes into the bar and he's like, oh my gosh, like, I love this woman, she looks great. And then he finds out that she's only making like 500 pesos a day. 500 pesos a day, for those of you who don't know, is like $10. If she's making that, she's probably making that with her tips. So when you look at it, she takes motoconcho because she's not going to have a car, right? So she's going to take motoconcho to work, and that's going to cost her about 100 pesos. And then she's going to take a motoconcho home from work, and that's going to cost 100 pesos. A motoconcho is a motorcycle taxi. And then as she's at work, she's probably only going to make a few hundred pesos. So she, with tips and everything, she may make about $10 a day. Probably not 1,000 pesos, which is $20 roughly here or there, más o menos. However, she will make enough money for herself to survive. Now, what a lot of men will do is they will be like, oh, baby, you're only making $10 a day? Quit that job. Come live with me. And she does, because she's thinking, wow, this is a great opportunity. So this guy may have a villa, this guy may have a condo, and he most likely has been living here for a while. He's an expat. Maybe he doesn't own his property, maybe he's renting it, but he really does like this woman. She's younger, she's beautiful, she'll cook for him, she'll clean for him, and she'll do a lot for him. But then she starts to put two and two together that he doesn't have money like that. She quit her whole job and the opportunity to find somebody else who may have money like that. So then she starts to, go online. So she'll go on the dating site. She'll take a couple of photos of herself and she gets a little private account. And then all of a sudden she's going out with her girlfriends, or she's going to the campo, which is the countryside, with her family to go visit her family and stuff. She has to go do things all of a sudden after like a couple of months of being with you. And then you're like, oh, why do you have to go out all of a sudden? Most likely she's going to go out and get that man that she thought you were, right? Because you're telling her, quit your job, but then she's thinking you're going to get her nails done all the time. She's thinking you're going to get her hair done all the time. She's thinking you're going to take her shopping, but you are only giving her that same amount of money that she was making in the bar every day. You're like, here, baby, you give her $10 a day. Well, what if she likes to have a couple of glasses of wine or whatever? What if, like, she's not there to service a dude? So that's what happens a lot of the time as well. Guys just pick girls up from the bar, they take her home, they wife her up, and then eventually she starts taking from him because she's not getting enough from him, or she starts getting miserable. And you can see it on her face when she's with him. She's like at the bar, he can hardly get her to smile. Like me, I'll see that a lot. I'll see, like, at the beginning, she's like, oh my gosh, I won the lottery. And then after about a month or two, he still looks happy because, she's a beautiful woman, but she's like, a lump on the log and she looks miserable. And I see it so often because she's unfulfilled. She may have a really nice pretty dress on or a nice outfit on, or her hair may be done, her nails may be done, but it probably came at a cost. Even if he is taking her out all the time to really nice dinners and all this stuff, if she is only in his company all the time and only with him, and she doesn't have the freedom to go out and explore a little bit, then she's eventually going to look unhappy no matter what you give her. You gotta ask a Dominican woman what her future goals are. And that's when you will know the difference between a good woman for you and a woman that is just going to hit it and quit it with you. For instance, you may think that you don't want a woman starting a business. You may think, oh my gosh, no, I want her to stay at home with me all that time. Like, I want her to just relax with me. And then eventually she's like, I don't want to just sit around. She's getting fat. She's feeling like, oh my gosh, she's wasting her time. And she has goals. And she'll talk to you about her business. I want to run a business. I want to open up a business. And she'll start showing you stores that are available for rent. And she'll start asking around about these stores that are available for rent. And she'll tell you, but if you don't have the money to help her start up a business, she's going to feel like she sold herself short. One story right there. Something else that I often see here as well, guys do not leave Pedro Clisante. Pedro Clisante is the main strip, and they do not leave Pedro Clisante. Shoot. They don't even leave Sosua. Gee, they think that they're going to go to Santiago, get a woman and bring her back here to Sosua. But a lot of Dominican women don't want to even be caught dead in Sosua. A lot of Dominican women are like, no, I don't flow like that. The good Dominican women you can find straight here in Sosua, by the way, just to let you know this little tidbit. Right here down the street from where I live. I live in an area called Los Charamicos. It is across the street from the beach, from Playa Sosua. Beautiful location, local location. This is where you're going to find good women. These women, they work in banks, and it's considered a middle class, working class type of middle class income, because a lot of the people that live here so close to the tourist area, they have to be able to afford the rent here, because a lot of foreigners live here, and they have to be able to afford the rent. Some of the places are ran down and really inexpensively priced, and just like how you would find in El Bate on the tourist, like in the tourist sector, you're going to find a few places that are a little beaten down. But here in this so-called middle class area, this is where the working class is. A lot of the Dominicans that have jobs, and they're not living in the countryside, so you will find a woman getting up very early in the morning. She's taking her children to school, and her children look good. Their hair is done, they're clean looking, their outfit is pristine because they have uniforms here. The children have uniforms here. It's a joy and a pride for these women to have their children looking really good, because it speaks a lot about them and what they are able to do. When a woman in the Dominican Republic, when you see her and she is dressed up, it's not for show-off purposes. It is for self-care purposes. Dominican women don't try to compete with the world. They just really like to smell good, look good, and hair. They even appreciate it. Even when I go out, I'm 53 years old, right? Even when I'm out somewhere, the Dominican women will come up to me and they'll touch my hair and they'll go, my hair looks like yours when it's not straight, or like, wow, I can't believe you're single, is what they'll say to me and stuff like this. If I'm wearing like a nice top or something, immediately I will get a beautiful compliment from a Dominican woman, and they will be like right away, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. And they won't say, where did you buy it? Because they may not be able to afford it, so I will say, if I got it like somewhere and it's on sale somewhere here and it's only like, a couple of bucks, I'll tell them where I bought it. And I'll be like, oh, I bought it at the blah, blah, blah. They're on sale right now. And they say, oh, seriously? Like, en serio? Oh, Dios mío. And they're so excited. They're so happy because I'm digressing. But they really like taking care of themselves. And it's a part of who they are. So when they want you to get their nails done, their hair done, and stuff of that nature, it's because they're taking care of themselves. It's not because they're taking advantage of you, but they see you as a source of stability for them to be able to get that done so they can take their money and go spend it on other things that are necessary. So a lot of these women, you'll see them walking through the streets right here in Cheramicos. In the mornings, they're taking their children to work. At lunchtime, they're picking their kids up from school, and then they're taking them back to school. They're picking them up after school. So you'll see some of them, they work, so they get their mother to pick them up, to pick the children up at lunchtime or whatever, or a caretaker of some kind. And these mothers are on it. Sit in the local area where there's like a colmado where you can sit and you can get yourself a Coca-Cola, you can get yourself like a juice or like an adult beverage and listen to some music, some bachata, and get to know the culture. Because the most beautiful Dominican women are in their culture. They feel comfortable there. They're not going to go, the good Dominican women are not going to go on Pedro, Clisante and buy themselves a beer and sit down with the expats. They're just not going to do that. As a matter of fact, right here, there's a colmado in my area where I like to go and sit and have a few adult beverages and chit-chat with the locals. And one day, a female came in and she sat down beside me just briefly, and she's like, hi. And I'm like, hi. And she's like, I'm a teacher next door. And I'm like, oh, hi. And she's like, yeah, give me your phone number. Now, she wasn't coming on to me. She just wanted a foreigner friend. Like, I think she sees me around. She's probably been seeing me for all the years that I've lived here, 6 years in this area, 7 years in the Dominican Republic altogether. I mean, I've bounced around to different places, Cabarete, Albate, but this was my main place, Los Cheramicos. So, she's just like, I'm a teacher at the school. Give me your number. And I'm like, okay. So I gave her my number and she got up right away. And I'm like, sit down, have a drink. And she's like, oh, no. I'm going to message you. And she took off. And I was like, and I was with my friend Gustavo, who's also a Spanish teacher. And he's like, no, the good Dominican women, they're not going to sit down here. And she came in and she bought 2 beers, like 2 grande cervezas, but she was not going to sit down and drink them there. She took them across the street. And she lives upstairs, and she sat on her balcony, on her terraza, and she just looked out at the street and she drank her beer, and there's a lot of good women like this. They own restaurants, they own cafes, like little cafes where it's so small you can't even sit in there, but they'll put seats outside where you can sit on the street. And the women love business. These are the women that you need to look for, so they're looking for a business partner in their man. So if you are a man, you're retired and you are looking for love, and you're up on Pedro Clisante looking at these young girls, trying to, ration them, like trying to negotiate a good price and everything like that. You're just looking for someone to take you home and, give you the girlfriend experience for a moment, and then they're hitting the street again. If you're looking for someone serious, somebody that's going to love you, honor you, respect you, then you're going to have to prepare yourself to invest in them. That's it. They don't want to sit at home and be like a kept woman. They have ideas for business and they can go out and get it done real quick. So if you're a person that does have some startup cash and you do meet a woman that wants to start a cafe or a colmado or a little restaurant in the bottom of a home that you guys rent out or even own, follow her. Listen to her. Pay attention to what she's saying. She's smart. These Dominican women are very industrial. They know how to turn a fork into a baby mobile. I have seen them do things. So these are the women who you want to go for. Yes, it's possible to find love. Now, I see a lot of women, and this is not to knock on my, expat Canadian counterparts, like I don't want to put down these women, but sometimes we'll go out places and we're sitting down and we're chilling, we're having a couple of drinks, and they're a little boy crazy, and a guy will show up and they're like, oh my gosh, hi, come sit with us. And I don't deal with that. I'm not trying to buy any running shoes or sneakers or cell phones or hats or anything for anybody at all. So what I'm trying to say is I am not interested in that, but there are a lot of women out there, and they're on Pedro Clisante as well, and they are getting used up like yesterday's newspaper, and they know it, and they think this is going to be the next one. It's like gambling. That's exactly what a lot of these expat women are doing with these boys, and I call them boys because they are boys compared to us. I'm 53, and these expat women that I'm chilling with sometimes are older than me. And I'm not knocking these women at all. All I'm saying is there gets to a point where you have to stop gambling. There gets to a point where you have to start looking outside of Pedro Clisante's little box, and you have to go somewhere else. And, it's really difficult, actually, to find a young Dominican man. It's easier for men to find a young Dominican woman. And I'm going to say it, I'm going to say it again. The reason why is because a Dominican woman, right, she will take care of the house. She will cook, she will clean, she'll take care of her men. Some of them like to be kept. Some of them do like to be kept if they don't have much education and they don't have any business ideas. And they're just like, whoa, I just need to sit home and cook? What? And just go on my cell phone and chill out? And some of them don't mind it at all. Eventually, they looked a little depressed and sad at times too, but overall, you will find some that are completely happy with it, right? You will never find a young boy that's going to do that. You'll never find, and ladies, I need you to hear me out on this one. The young Dominican men are looking for you to do that for them. You see, you men, you guys may be able to strike it a little bit more luckier than the average gringa woman, foreigner woman. Like I said just now, because you may be able to find a woman that's going to cook, that's going to clean, that's going to give you a massage, that's going to be with you all the time and expect nothing except to be taken care of, and you take care of her grandmother who's sick every now and again, pay for the medicine, go take her out every now and again, and she would be satisfied with that if she's not business minded. The young men, the Sankey Pankies, they are not going to clean your house. They are not going to give you a massage. They are not going to cook for you. Okay? They are not going to do anything like that. They're going to break their cell phone deliberately, and then they're going to say, oh, mi amor, look at my cell phone, it broke. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, it broke. Look, I can't press the button. And you'll be like, man, they want a brand new cell phone and you can hardly afford to buy yourself one. But the cell phone that they want is what? The new iPhone. Listen, a man tried that with me one time. Yes, I've been through a couple of young guys here, one, but I tried with the second one thinking maybe, and oh my gosh, he took me to the Altice cellular phone network store. I get in there and he starts showing me what phones he wants. Now I use my phones for business, and this man doesn't use his phone for anything. You think I'm going to go and get him a few $100 phone? No. He has two options. Get a secondhand one, a refurbished one at Altice, or get a refurbished one on Amazon. Be happy that I'm even spending $60 on you, man. That's it. You're not getting anything else. And then there's one guy, he got the phone and he was like, and he didn't like it, but he went and broke his own phone anyway, thinking he was going to just, try to swindle me. And then you know what? He didn't know how to read. And so he needed help setting up his phone. So we had to transfer information from his old phone, which was really tricky because it was broken, into the new phone. And I caught him. I caught his ass. He was cheating. And right there at that moment, I said, take this cell phone, take you and get out. So anyway, that was that. And I never got involved again. And that was like, I guess 4 years ago. And I've been single ever since then. And I don't mind, I don't mind being single. I really don't. I tried to talk to a couple of people, even foreigners, like gringos here, but it just didn't work. And it doesn't mean I'm going to be single forever. It just means I'm single for now. And I'm okay with that. I do a lot of work and I have my dog and I have my cat. So I would suggest to you ladies out there as well, don't play with fire. If you're looking for a young guy to get you home and get you all wrapped up and do a little bit of hump, hump, pump, pump, and you feel good with that, and that's what you're looking for, then hey, go for it. But don't catch feelings, because if you do, then he's going to try to take you shopping. And he's not doing the buying for you. So obviously you're going to have to end up buying him something. I would say as soon as he starts talking about, oh, Amor, look at my shoes, tell him to wash them. Oh, Amor, I saw this. Look at this. This is one of their famous things. They're on their phone. Look, this is a broken cell phone, actually. The phone that I'm recording on right now doesn't have a back. I have all kinds of cell phones, right? But that's neither here nor there. I use them for business. But in any case, he'll be on his cell phone and he'll be like, Amor, look at this. He'll be on Amazon. Doesn't even have an EPS account here to be able to get anything shipped to him. But he knows you got an account where you can get things shipped to you from around the world, because he goes with you when you go to EPS or wherever your package pickup place is, and he's like, oh, she buys packages online, and he sees you shop online, so then he starts showing you what he wants you to buy him. Look at this, look at that. And they do it so subtly. And I mean, once you know it, you know it. As soon as they pick that cell phone up to show you what they want, they are asking you to buy it. That's it. As soon as they point something out to you in the store, they are asking you to buy it. Ladies, don't get caught up. But I will say this, ladies, if you are looking for a good man, and you want a young man, most of the good young men are into the beautiful young Dominican women. Most of the really good Dominican men that are studying in school, that are, and I mean like university, so they're like probably around, 28 or whatever, they're studying to be a doctor or whatever. They're not trying to get with some overweight, smoking, drinking expat woman. They're not trying to take you home. They're just like, oh yeah, okay. They would find it kind of creepy. Really, at the end of the day, they'd be like, oh gosh, but a lot of the times that you will be able to find yourself a nice young man and you can hit it and quit it. And then probably after about 3 months, you're on your way again. And it could last longer than that, but chances are you broke up 10 or 20 times if it lasted longer than that. You have to be very careful. Look for men that are maybe like 40, if you're in your 50s or 60s, and if you don't only want intimacy and you want something long lasting, then you're going to have to up the age a little bit, because a lot of these dignified young men are not trying to look at older women, okay? If you find that there's a young man and he's trying to talk to you and you found him on the resort because he works there, and you're like, oh, well, at least he works. How many other women did he meet before you? And then if you find him, he's a moto concho. Of course, he's a moto concho. Probably has very little education, very little work experience, and not only that, he is looking at you and he's thinking, wow, you're so fortunate. He is nowhere close to finishing school or anything of that nature. If you're looking for a professional young man, then you're going to have to up the age a little bit. That's for you foreigner women. If you're just looking for a roll in the hay, then go right on Pedro Clisante and do like a pay to play. You know, pay to play would probably be a lot better than going and buying a cell phone and sneakers. Like, women get caught up with these men, and that's where you have to be careful. So ladies, I don't even know, like, I get stuck a lot of the times with you, and I hope some of my friends that are watching this don't take this personally, but I know that you already know how I feel. I vocalize this all the time on my Facebook and also with my girls. When I'm sitting with my girls and young guys come up, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, and then I don't do it like that because I'm not trying to COCK block, you know what I mean? But like, when these guys come up to the table, they'll bring a friend thinking that I'm open to it. And they'll be like, hi, hola, amor. And I'm like, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Straight out like that. And they're like, oh, okay. But, you know, what's your name? My name is Cerise. I'm a grandmother and I have a son that's older than you and I'm not interested. Oh, and then they laugh because I'm being real pissy with them and being real with them, and I caught them on their game, and so they giggle and they're like, shoot, she's different, shoot, man, like, I like her even more now because she's playing hard. Now I'm gonna really try to get her. And that is their first mistake. Right then, I will say to them, excuse me, bomba, and I bust out the Spanish and I tell them straight up, if you had a mother that was getting some man was like trying to come on to, and your mom already told this young man a couple of times, how would that make you feel? And he'll be like, oh, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, yeah, so don't look at me like a piece of meat. Don't look at me like a piece of pie. And don't look at me like an ATM. Look at me like I am your mother, because I have dignity and I have pride, and I'm not about to go give myself and my hard-earned money all the way to a young boy that's looking for a free ride. I'm not doing it. Because I'm not looking for intimacy. I'm looking for long-term commitment. And I'm not even looking for it. That's what I'm interested in. So yeah, ladies, if you're like me and you're looking for a long-term relationship, companionship, somebody that you can go and do things with, then that's great. And you know what? I don't mind taking somebody out. My moto concho and I, when we go out places and we chill, I buy him drinks, I buy him a meal, and I pay him for the day. I don't mind that so much at all. But I do mind when I meet someone and their intention is to grab money from me, grab material from me, and grab dignity from me. I have an issue with that. So, and that doesn't work well in my world. But if you're a woman that's like me and you have that type of dignity, then I'm just telling you right now, be very careful of these young boys, because they will immediately start showing you stuff on their cell phone. They will immediately start showing you what's broken in their life. And then once you start seeing that, they're going in for the kill. This turned into a whole entire bash. Like, I just bash, but that's not how I mean to come off. I do believe you can find love in Sosua. I'm not trying to come at you and give you a lecture. I'm not trying to come at you and try to tell you that this is what you need to do and that's what you need to do, because that's only an overview. It is possible to find love on Pedro Clisante. I have seen it happen before. It is possible to find lust that turns into love and respect. So I'm just giving you an overview, and I'm just trying to say, be very careful when you're out there. Use your head before you use your heart. And then when you feel safe and secure, then you can start using your heart. And remember, sometimes they don't ask right away. You could be dating them for like a month and they're buying their own drinks and they're buying their own food and they're getting their own hair done and their own nails done. But once they start asking, it's like when you start going pee after a few beers, you gotta keep going. That's exactly what happens. That first time they ask, they're gonna continue to ask. And then it wears you down and it takes away the feeling of love, because you never know when there's an honest to goodness need from them. Like, you never know if they are looking at their cell phone and they're really genuinely showing you something that they want, or they're just looking at and they're not asking you to buy it. It just takes away the joy of real conversation around materialistic things. I do believe that when you first get into a relationship with a Dominican, you have to ask them what their future goals are. You have to ask them, what do they want for the future? What their education is. And if there is by any chance that you can put something together, go for it. Especially if it's a business, I mean, she'll cook, she'll do hair, she'll, like any business around the world. And she'll work it and she'll make it successful. You're not going to get much money from it, but she will put it back into the house, and then she'll run her own business. Once her own business is running, she's not going to ask you for any money any longer, unless she wants to upgrade the business, like buy a huge shipment on something, or, something. But when all is said and done, yes, you can find love in Sosua. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. My book includes a lot of this and so much other stuff on, like how you can find a really good woman, where you can find a really good woman. I go more into detail also about the culture and how when you're being used. My book is loaded with a lot of information and some stories, some really touching stories. Speaking of stories, I'm going to be bringing out a story time next week. So look forward to that, because this story time is pretty interesting, as they all are. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Cerise Fairfax. Go ahead and subscribe. It's free to do so. After you do that, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, because it will let me know that you really enjoyed this video, and it will let YouTube know, and then YouTube will push the video to a lot of other people, and then it just encourages me to do more videos like this for you guys. I have your back. I'm here for you. My name is Cerise. I help people relocate. I also help people to get apartments, long-term, short-term. I help people to invest in real estate. Oh my gosh, there's a whole real estate scam going on right now, which I'm going to be doing a video about as well. So I help you to invest in real estate, and I'm your friend here. I'm your foreigner friend, and I'm here and I got your back. I have a lot of network going on, and I can connect you with anybody, almost anybody that you need. So give me a shout. My information is in the description, my WhatsApp number, and also my email. My email I'm putting right here on the screen, and my number is also right here on the screen. And not only that, it is going to be in the comments. So if you don't see it here and you don't see it in the description, you'll see it pinned to the comments. Guys, I also have another channel, and it is called Sister Cerise. So it's sister and then my first name, Cerise. It's all on like celebrity gossip and stuff of that nature. So if you find that interesting, let me know. That link is going to be below as well. I talk about like the beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. I talk about what's going on with Diddy. I talk about the Blake Lively situation and whoever's in Hollywood, singers and actors and stuff of that nature. And I also have a new channel that I just started today, and it's called Fairfax Files. And it is a true crime channel. Fairfax files. I just put the first video up today. So I would really love your support. If you guys can go over there and give me a subscribe, give me a like, let me know what you think about it. The woman who I did the first crime on, her name is Cynthia Linda Alonzo, and it is quite sad. Beautiful black woman that was taken, her life was taken by her boyfriend. So that's that channel. So I have all these channels that I'm working with, and I really just love doing content. So guys, join me on all the channels, and I would love it so much if you can spread the word. Take care, everyone. Huge hugs, loads of love, big blessings to you, and please be good to yourself out there because you deserve it. Take care. My name's Cerise Fairfax.